I changed mine to computer. You should have my computer and me.
No, I don't have you. Hang on a minute. Still, I don't have you on this other side. Oh, I know. Excuse me just a second. Now, there you go.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Sorry.
Okay, so we're looking at my library. I want to show you something that may be dangerous, but that's going to be up to you. And again, the more we get into this customizing the software, the more powerful it becomes, but the more dangerous it becomes for you messing with stuff and hiding stuff and then not knowing how to get it back, okay? One of the things that irritates me, if you close your My Library for just a moment, go up under your search menu and just do Bible search. We're not actually going to do a search, but when you look about halfway down this dialog box where it says Bibles, and you click on this, you have this gigumbo list of Bibles, and it'll include Targums and text fragments. See all of these that say P whatever? Those are all Greek manuscripts. Now, some of you may not have all of these, some of you may, but these are kind of in the way. To be honest with you, I don't use them, and there's a lot of stuff that I've already gotten rid of out of this list. So I'm going to show you how to pare down your library so that it becomes a little bit more manageable. Go ahead and cancel that Bible search and go back to your library. Sometimes you have a number of books in here that you want to get rid of. Now, this is a question that I get asked all the time. So for those who are listening to this video online, this may come in handy for you. But it oftentimes becomes, how do I get rid of resources in my library that I don't use? You have two choices. One is you can delete them, or you can just hide them. Now, being the pack rat that I am, I don't like throwing anything away because I never know when I'm going to want it again. So while I know that all of these resources are on your DVDs or on your CD-ROMs, I don't like the idea of deleting them, so I'm not even going to teach you how to do that. I'm simply going to show you how to hide them, okay? So cancel your My Library, close your My Library, and go under Tools, Options, General. Tools, Options, General. And if the fifth option down is Hidden Resources, you'll notice that I have all my Cairo Geniza Targum fragments hidden. I haven't deleted them, but they don't show up in my list anymore when I go to do a Bible search of a Bible that I want to search. Because, to be honest with you, I don't know what fragments I would want to search. As Denny has mentioned, I'm no Bible scholar, or Greek scholar, so I just get those things out of the way. There's a number of them. I've hidden a bunch of my manuscript fragments as well. Just to show you how this works, I want you to hit Add. Now, when you select Add, it basically comes up with a window that looks like what? My library. Okay. Under Collection at the top, select All Unlocked Resources, because I'm only concerned about hiding the stuff that you own that you don't want. Now, there's a whole commentary set that starts with the word be. Be amazed, be this, be that, be others. Now, it's not a bad commentary set, but you're further down the road than that, and you're gonna find other resources and besides the commentaries, and we've talked about commentaries. Type in the find box B, and you'll see all of these. They're by Worsby. Be amazed, be authentic, be available, be basic, be comforted, be committed, all that kind of stuff. Well, I'm telling you right now that most of the time you're not going to use these commentaries. And every time you're searching for a commentary or searching through commentaries, these are going to appear on the list. So we may as well hide them. So select the first one, Be Amazed, just click on it. And you'll notice now it's in my Other Hidden Resources box. Click Add again. Type B and have title selected. It will be because that was the last time you did it. Type B again and select Be Authentic. And it's added that to the hidden resource. Yes?
Can we just, highlight it?
No. This is the most frustrating thing. I thought maybe you could shift, select like 15 or 20 resources and hide them all. I tried to hide them by the author's name. I've tried every way I can think of to hide them, and the only way I can figure out to do them is one at a time. Now, when you've got 52 textual fragments that are P, whatever, you just sit there and type P and delete. And the other night during the football game, I just hid about 50 resources. I can't figure out, if somebody can figure out a way to do it as a group, I'll give you extra credit. I'll give you at least a half a point of extra credit. No, I'll give you extra credit. I don't know how much extra credit, but I'll give you some extra credit. I can't figure out any other way to do it. So select Add, go back, type B again. Now, this is the other thing that's interesting. You'll notice that Be Amazed and Be Authentic is still in this list, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now, I've already hidden it once, right? Watch what happens when I click on Be Amazed. I've now hidden it twice.
Nice.
Do you see in my list how it has Be Amazed twice? So you have to keep track of what you've hidden, at least until you close the resource and start over. If you close this add, here I'm going to do one more. Be Amazed, Be Available. If I close this options dialog box, it will get rid of them in the other resource so I don't have to keep looking at them again. For example, I'm going to just say, okay, I've hidden Amazed, Authentic, and Available. So I say, okay, I don't want to hide anymore right now. Now, if I go back to Tools, Options, General, hello. Go back to Hidden Resources, go back to Add, and type in B. You'll notice that those first three that I hid aren't there anymore. So each time you do a group, I got to the point the other night where I would do like 10 or 15, and then I'd start getting confused as to where I left off. So I would just close the whole dialog box and start it over and do some more. But I can click on Be Basic, and I can do Add. Now, many of you will not think this is a big deal, and that's fine. There are some folks watching this on video on the internet that are going to say, yes, because it will get to the point where it's very irritating that you have 87 different Bibles in every Bible search list and every Bible list of stuff. You've got this thing that's a mile long, and you're trying to look for 3 of them. And it's just irritating. So being able to hide them does come in very, very handy. Now, again, understand what's happening. You have not deleted anything. You haven't, all of these resources are still on your hard drive. You just can't get to them anymore unless you come back to this area and unhide them. Now, the way you unhide them is you just select it and say remove. Now, what you're doing is you're removing it from the hidden list. You follow? So remove doesn't mean delete it from your hard drive. You're just removing it from the hidden list, and it'll become available in your software again. So you may want to do that. That will be very, very handy. Now, there have been times when I have done this, and then I've gone immediately to a resource window for that particular one, and I've clicked on the parallel resources, and it's still showing up there. If you close that resource window, or if you restart Libronics, it hides everything. So most of the time it hides it right away. But there have been a couple of times where I've found I had to close the resource window, or I had to just restart Libronics and everything started to hide. So, questions about hiding things? The other thing that you'll want to do is click on this Hide Duplicate Resources. If you have multiple books that have the same name, literally multiple electronic files that have the same name, it'll just hide them and it'll just give you one in your My Library windows and in your search dialog boxes. Questions about hiding things? Okay, go ahead and say okay, and I'll let you guys spend all your free time hiding stuff when you're not playing video games. Go back to My Library. I wanted to show you what ends up being pretty cool. Type in Baker's Bible Encyclopedia. Don't click on it yet. Don't open the resource yet, but just type Baker from the title, arranged by title, so that you can get to Baker's Encyclopedia of the Bible. Right-click on the title of the book. And notice that you have some options here. Now, some of these are subtle, and I don't know why you would do it from a right-click rather than just hit your return key. But you can open it. You can open it in a new window. But notice that you can search this resource without even opening the book. Select Search This Resource.
Are we all supposed to have Baker?
Yeah, I don't have it.
You don't have it either? How many of you don't have it? Okay. Okay, let's do a different one. Make sure Arranged by Title is selected and type Dictionary. And do you have Easton's Bible Dictionary? Type Easton's or type Bible Dictionary or whatever. You guys, everybody should have Easton's. Everybody's got Easton's? Okay, right-click on the title for Easton's and say, search this resource. And type in, let's type in Ephesus. And say search. Now, your My Library window may not close because you have Keep Open selected, so if it's in the way, just close it for now. But you'll notice that my search of the Easton's Bible Dictionary returns 74 occurrences of the word Ephesus, and these are all of the search results for Ephesus. Now, I never opened my Easton's Bible Dictionary. It's not open. It won't open until I click on one of these hot links, and then it will open Easton's Bible Dictionary to that particular article. So you can search a book without ever even opening it. Now, I want you to notice something. When we click on that first one that says Ephesus, you'll notice when it opens Easton's Bible Dictionary, it has highlighted in color. Oh yeah, you can see it on the screen, okay? It has highlighted in color all the places where that word occurs. As I scroll through, you'll see all the hits, okay? That's just a way of showing you where those search results actually appear. But it allows you to search for books, search through books, I should say, that you don't even have open. Now, honestly, I have to be completely honest with you, I've never done that before. I don't typically think about it is my problem. I'll launch the book and try to do a topical search, or I'll launch the book and try to do a reference search or something, rather than just thinking about right-clicking on it in My Library and then searching it. It's a much faster way of trying to get through to it, but I oftentimes don't think about doing that. So I wanted to make you aware of it. The other thing that we talked about, go ahead and open your My Library again.
On mine, it doesn't have the highlighted. How did you get that?
It doesn't show the highlighted when you do the search. I didn't do anything special.
Okay.
It went ahead and opened.
Mine was just hard to see. It was kind of gray.
Yeah, your color may be a little different.
Well, I just got Easton's Bible Dictionary, then a list of like Ephesus 12 times.
Right. Click on the word Ephesus.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Now it opens Ephesus. It opens Easton's and then highlights everywhere that Ephesus occurs.
Okay.
Now, if you want to know more about your books in the library, you can select About This Resource. So right-click on Easton's Bible Dictionary in your My Library and say About This Resource. Now again, My Library isn't going to close because you have to keep open, so close it to get it out of your way. But here you have information about this book. You have a synopsis of it, a picture of the cover. The bibliographic citation is right here. You'll notice that it's not full MLA format. The titles are italicized instead of underlined and so on. It also has an MARC bibliographic record. I don't know that I completely understand this, and Denny, if you understand Library of Congress better than I do, there's MARC bibliographic records are a way to search remote libraries for books. And I'll show you how to do that. Well, we might touch on it today. But you can actually search the Library of Congress for books through your Logos software. And you'll get the title and the MARC locator so that you could actually, if you went to that particular library, look it up. It's basically their card catalogs. Now, that may not seem all that exciting to us here in Denver. The one thing that is cool, though, is that we can search the Iliff School of Theology or Seminary library from here. Now, for those of you who know, Iliff is just across town. And we can search their library from within Logos because they are a part of this network. Granted, you guys have already done a lot of your big library research as far as the Doc Hite, just trying to find references for the Doc Hite, for example. But you can do other sources, and obviously you've got lots more papers to write. So now, Iliff tends to be relatively liberal. Denny, would that be? What? They're way out.
If Jesus comes again and you are an eyewitness,
Yeah. So use their drive-through library access if you can.
Can you access the Denver Seminary?
No. Iliff is the only local one. But I will show you some ways that you could maybe use the Library of Congress to find books in Denver Seminary, at least take the information with you. Okay, so you've got that information. You've just got all kinds of information here about this book. The copyright, you'll notice this particular book is in public domain. That might be important. If the resource is in public domain, that means you can use it to do lots of other things that you can't use some copyrighted information, and so on. So it shows you what data types are contained inside that resource. It shows you if it's got topical indexes or not. All kinds of information about this particular resource just by right-clicking on the title in your My Library. Now, I said I wasn't going to do this, but I will anyway. If you look at this resource location, you might have to expand it to open it. It's going to show you on your hard drive exactly where this file resides. So my Easton's Bible Dictionary is actually in C, Program Files, Libronics DLS, Resources, Eastons.lbxLLS. If I go in and delete that file, guess what I don't have in Libronics anymore? Easton's. It's gone. Now, I could always reload it from my CD-ROMs, but if there are resources that you absolutely just don't want taking up space on your hard drive, for example, if you've got a small hard drive and you bought the gold package and there's 800 Targums that you're not going to ever use, or at least you're not going to use them for 2 more years until you become Greek scholars like Denny, you can delete them off of your hard drive and not take up the space, okay? So I prefer hiding them because hiding them, they don't show up in search dialog boxes in other places as well. So you can do that from there. Now you also notice it's interesting, there's also a table of contents section. So you can look at the table of contents of a book. Notice what I'm doing here. This is a hidden feature that's way cool. What do you use a table of contents for, Whitney?
Find things.
To find what?
Search things.
Certain things. JR, can you be more specific?
Well, you can find the pages, those pages if you want.
You can find out what's in the book, right? I mean, here you've got these electronic books. When we go to a library book, we basically can take the book off the shelf, open it up, look at the table of contents and say, yeah, this really doesn't have what I'm looking for in it. Here, you can look at this table of contents, and since Easton's is a dictionary, you can scroll through and you could find the topic that you want. And notice that these are highlightable, which means that if I scroll down to Galilee under G, or Sea of Galilee, and click on it, it's going to open Easton's to the Sea of Galilee article. Kind of cool. It's just like having a paper version of the book. Now, there may be other ways to find that information faster, but this can be good, powerful information. So you have a table of contents for the book electronically right there. Now, I clicked on Sea of Galilee. Easton's Bible Dictionary opened. Where else do I have a table of contents for this book? Eli?
At the beginning of the resource?
No.
When you click the table of contents thing?
Right. Toggle Contents pane at the top. And there is my table of contents for Easton's Bible Dictionary. And it works just like it did in that resource window. I can scroll through it and find a topic. Here's giants. And we will note that Genesis 6 is talking about giants. See, I was good. I was thinking loud again. But you can scroll through and get to the indexes of these books. Folks, don't forget your content panel. I forget about it all the time. I'm in a resource and I'm trying to figure out if it has an article on something. And I'm typing Paul and I'm typing Apostle and I'm typing all kinds of things. When, truthfully, if I just popped open the table of contents, sometimes I'd find what I was looking for a lot faster. So don't forget that you can pop this little contents pane open and get to not the index, the table of contents for the book. Okay? Go ahead and close Easton's. Go ahead and close the About resource. So I've shown you how to hide resources, and I've talked about right-clicking. Right-clicking in my library, how many of you had thought to right-click on a title previously and had tried it? No one. There's a big surprise. You don't think about it, but your right mouse button is going to be the most powerful tool in Libronics for you. Click on things, right-click on things. See what it does. Get used to assuming that when you use your right mouse button, you're going to get a whole different list of options than you can get anywhere else. Now, that's not true. Everything that you can get through your right mouse button, you can get to from other menu items. But 90% of the time, it is tons faster to do it from a right mouse click than it is to do it from somewhere else. So get in the habit of right-clicking. For example, does everybody still have a Bible open? Turn to Philippians chapter 3. In verse 5, it mentions Benjamin. Right-click on the word Benjamin. Now, we're going to go over all of this stuff later, but I want you to look at the bottom of that little pop-up menu that comes up. What do you see that's important? Bible Word Study Benjamin. Slide down that list and click on Bible Word Study Benjamin. You just did what we've done from the home page. Under Study Word, you just did a Bible Word Study on Benjamin but from the text, rather than close all open home or even opening your home page and typing Benjamin. I am now running on reserve battery. Interesting. Why is that? Oh, because I'm not plugged in. That's usually important. Okay. Do you start to see the power of this? Now, rather than going to your home page, launching your home page, typing in Benjamin, I can just right-click on any English word in any resource, and I can do a Bible word study on it. What's the matter, Mike? You're in Early Church Fathers doing something, and it's not working right?
No. Never mind. Don't ask me.
Okay. So, I've got all of this information about Benjamin right here. Okay? Go ahead and close that Bible word study.
Can you have more than one Bible word study open?
Yep. Yeah, if you do another one, it's just going to run another one. Now, I'm going to switch to my New American Standard. Find another word. Okay, we're still in Philippians 3. False circumcision. Right-click on circumcision. You can do a Bible word study on circumcision. Okay? Now, make sure that you're in your New American Standard Bible. And I want you to right-click on the word circumcision. Now, at the bottom, in the bottom group, you should have 4 choices. Navigate to associated word, Bible word study, circumcision, Englishman's Concordance, G4061, and then copy Philippians 3:3 to clipboard. Todd, what is an Englishman's Concordance?
First word and verse 5.
Yeah. Fifth word, 6th word in verse 3. What is an Englishman's Concordance? Don't run it. Just tell me what it is. Terry, what is an Englishman's Concordance? I am going to fail every one of you that took L&R if somebody in that class cannot tell me what Englishman's Concordance is. And you took L&R 2 years ago. What is Englishman's Concordance?
Concordance.
Isn't that key to the English that shows all the Greek words?
That's right.
Jay, are you going to bail them all out?
Yeah. It shows the Greek word.
Okay, it shows the Greek word.
Shows every time that a Greek word is used.
Mike, bail them out.
It shows every occurrence of that particular Greek word.
Every occurrence of a Greek word is found in the Englishman's Concordance. If you want to know where a Greek word appears every single time in the New Testament, use Englishman's Concordance. And so, I've right-clicked on the word circumcision in verse 3. Go down and run an Englishman's Concordance.
How's that different than like a Strong's or Young's?
Well, it doesn't give you all the Strong's numbers and definitions and that kind of stuff, but it's similar.
Strong's is based upon an English translation.
Right.
And they're going off of English words. The Englishman's Greek
Is Greek.
is totally Greek.
Okay.
So again, you're talking about a bridge from the English to the Greek. Now, this is based on Strong's numbering. Okay? We do need to understand that. We're in a New American Standard Bible, and we could get to a Greek Englishman's Concordance. Well, how did we do that? We did it because the New American Standard Bible has Strong's numbers embedded in it. Libronics has done that on 3 versions. The New American Standard, the King James Version, and the ESV Reverse Interlinear. Those are the only 3 Bibles that you can do this from. Now that is why I told you earlier to select New American Standard as your default Bible. because it has tools in it that Libronics chose not to put in other versions. So you may like the New King James Version better. Sorry. If you want to be able to do some of these tools, you have to start with the KJV, the NASB, or the ESV. Okay? So now you're starting to make sense as to why I had you pick what. It's not just that I don't like the New King James. But scroll through this list. This is now a list of every occurrence of the word circumcision in the New Testament based on the Greek word. You'll notice at the top there's 37 occurrences. Or excuse me, 36, I can't read. And as you scroll down, you'll see how that word is translated in each one of these contexts.
And Todd was looking for circumcision. He could have done circumcised.
Right.
Any of those.
Right.
It still would have brought him to this list.
Yes. Now, that's not going to be the case when you're talking about the difference between a noun and a verb, though. And that's going to be an important distinction. Strong gave different Strong's numbers for verbs and nouns. For example, we keep talking about the word agapao for love. Well, agapao is the noun, is the verb form. Agapes is the noun form of agapao. What's the noun form of agape? It left me. So those are two different Strong's numbers. So if you start with a noun in your English text, it's going to run an Englishman's Concordance based on that Greek Strong's number, and it's going to give you all the noun occurrences of love. Does that make sense? I know I say that a lot, but I want to make sure you understand that. Now, this drives Denny crazy, and it should. And that is because there are words whose roots are the same. So when you're doing word counts, well, I want to know not just the verbs that are agapao, but I would like to know anything else that has the root, the same root at the same time. Well, you have to make the distinction that since it's using Strong's number, if Strong gave it a separate number, it's going to be a separate report. It's just the way it is. Now, I have figured out some ways in the Greek to do what Denny wants. We may get to that at the end of the quarter, but with you guys having a lack of Greek skills at this point, it may just not be beneficial. But we'll probably touch on it.
Mike, when I click on in verse 3, circumcision, and I run the Englishman's, I pull up what you did. Now, if I go in verse 2, they're both nouns, right? Because when I go in verse 2, it only pulls up 2.
Aha. Why?
They different parts of.
No, it's important for you to understand what's it highlighting in your search result. False circumcision is a different word than just circumcision. Now, this is interesting because we're starting to see that multiple English words sometimes are translated by one Greek word. You follow?
Yes.
So, false circumcision is a different Greek word than just circumcision. Now, in our English, it's two separate words. So we're thinking we could search for false and we could search for circumcision. Doesn't work that way. Okay? Now, again, I think in some cases it should, and Denny's right, because the root of both of those words is going to be the same, correct? You're going to have a different stem on the end or a prefix or something that's going to change it to false circumcision. So you should be able to find them both, but you got to understand how Englishman's is being run in this context. When you start from an English Bible, the only thing it can do is use Greek Strong's numbers because you're not talking about Greek. You're talking about a link, a bridge from the English version to the Greek version, and Strong's is a common bridge. Go ahead and close those windows and just get back to your New American Standard Bible. And go up under View in your menu at the top, and you'll notice at the bottom you have two choices: inline Strong's numbers and interlinear Strong's numbers. Just choose inline Strong's numbers for right now. I want to show you that this information is actually hidden in here. I mean, it's a data type that's part of this text. So underneath each word is the Greek or Hebrew Strong's number. And you can do that as an interlinear, or you can actually change it to inline. Interlinear puts the Strong's number below the word, and inline puts it next to the word. Now, scroll down to verse 3. You'll notice that the Greek Strong's number was 4061. Right-click on it again, and you still have all the choices that you had before. You can still choose Englishman's Concordance G4061 and run that same report, okay? You can also now, since you're seeing that Greek Strong's number, just click on the Strong's number. Double-click on the Strong's number. What did we just do? Mike, what did I just do? I executed a key link for a Greek Strong's number. So it opened on mine. It opened the Enhanced Strong's Lexicon. Anybody open something else? Why did it open the Enhanced Strong's Lexicon, Brett?
Because that is the first resource in the list that it is recognizing.
And where is that list?
Under tools, options, key.
Right. Go to Tools, Options, Key Link. And you're going to get your key link options, and under Data Type at the top, select that and scroll down to Greek Strong's number. And what is the first one in my list? The Enhanced Strong's Lexicon. How many windows were set to open when I executed that key link? Mine just had one. Yours may have had a couple, but most likely your default was one. So if I want the Strong's number to open to something else, all of these resources in this list are linked to Strong's numbers. So let's promote. Does everybody have Vine's Complete Expository Dictionary? Should be about the 5th or 6th one down. It is locked. Okay. I know which one you do have. Scroll down to the Theological Dictionary of the New Testament. This is TD&T. This is the one we like. This is the full-blown TD&T. Go ahead and promote it. Just promote that one resource and click Close. Now when you get back to your workspace, close your Enhanced Strong's Lexicon. Just close that one window. Now go back to circumcision and click on that Greek Strong's number again. What did you open? TD&T. To a study on circumcision. Larry, what volume and page number is that study on? Okay. Doug, what volume and page number is that study on? Pardon? It's not open yet. Terry?
It's volume 6, page 72.
Volume 6, page 72. So if you go to the library and pull volume 6 off the shelf and turn to page 72, you're going to find this study on the Greek word for circumcision. You follow that?
Where do you see the page number?
Under Active Index,
Oh, okay.
click on it and you can change it to volume and page number or Greek Strong's number or topics. All I did was change it to volume and page. Denny, you were shaking your head. Is there a problem?
Yeah. I'm not seeing how you do that. We'll run that by one more time.
Okay.
All I have is the G4061.
Okay. In the menu at the top, right next to the little green Go button, is your Active Index button. If you click on that, you have some choices, and one of them is volume and page. And when you change it, it changes your current reference to the volume and page number. You can change it back to the Greek Strong's number or whatever. But the reason I used TD&T was to show you that they have included the Greek Strong's numbers in TD&T. Now, I believe I'm correct. Denny, correct me if I'm wrong. TD&T, You'd be happy to? Yeah, see, I can hear. I may not be a Greek scholar, but I got good ears. TD&T in the print version also contains Greek Strong's numbers, does it not? Or do you know?
I don't know. I don't believe so.
We need to check that out. I think it's listed in the reference somewhere, but maybe not. Maybe they've just added it. But again, when you go back to Tools, Options, Key Link, any of the books that show up here have Greek Strong's numbers. How do I know that? Because I'm in the data type for Greek Strong's numbers. So it's not showing me every book in my library. It's just saying, these are the ones that use Greek Strong's numbers. Do you want to open any one of these in particular? So it's kind of cool that it's not going to let you put a data type. You can't put a key link to an English dictionary from a Greek data type, for example. It's not going to mess with that. If that book isn't indexed to the Greek data type, it's not going to show up in this list. Okay? But again, you can promote as many of these as you want. You can set the order so that if you like Vines or if you like Woost's word studies, you can promote those. You can set them to a particular order, and that's what's going to open first. So again, you have complete control. Go ahead and close that and close your TD&T. Get back to your New American Standard 95 Update Bible window and leave inline Strong's numbers or interlinear Strong's numbers showing, and hit your arrow key on your keyboard and get to the New International Version. Guess what? No Strong's numbers. They're not there. Right-click on the word circumcision in verse 3 in the NIV. I can't do an Englishman's concordance. I can't navigate to a Greek Strong's number. All I can do is a Bible word study for circumcision. Do you see the difference? The King James, the NAS, and the ESV interlinear, because they have Greek Strong's numbers built in, they have created at least one bridge to the original language. This one does not. The NIV does not. And so the only way I can get to the original language from the NIV is to do what? How can I get to the Greek from the NIV?
You have to go through. You have to look it up.
You'd have to go through a Bible word study if you want to look for that particular Greek, or you'd have to go back and run a passage guide or an exegetical guide from the homepage for that particular verse. Yes.
Ask that question one more time. How can you get
How can I get to the Greek?
of circumcision?
Yes, of circumcision from the NIV.
Can you not right-click on it and go to selected text circumcision and you go down to like the Greek English lexicon? Some of those don't directly up to the word.
But you're not going to see a Greek English lexicon in there. It's not indexed to it.
I see it.
Yeah, it is.
I have one
That's
too.
it. I want to. Yeah.
What resource are you finding?
Greek English.
I'm in the
Standard
NIV. I highlighted the word circumcision. Right-click, selected text circumcision. All the way to the bottom, there's a Greek English lexicon of the New Testament.
Yeah.
So the
Open it.
Open the more
it's not the open directly up to the word circumcision.
That was in A and G.
But they did get to me, didn't she? Really did really quick. Non-biblical.
But mostly they just went down my
Okay. I need to figure out how it's doing that, because
Mike,
yeah.
when I did the exact same thing, but I went to TD&T, all it did was brought me to the first page of the book. It did
Right.
not bring me to circumcision.
Right. When you are right, there's two reasons why when you do a search, it takes you to the title page of a word. Most of the time, it's going to happen when you're searching for a Greek word, and it's because you're searching for the lexical form of the word versus the manuscript form. If you search for the manuscript form, it's not in TD&T. The lexical form is, the library form or lemma form is, but the manuscript form isn't. I need to figure out how it's getting you to Art and Gingrich from there.
I'm pulling up. The only thing I can figure, Mike, is it's pulling up the English resources, and then it's going to Keylink resources, and then it's going to some other Greek Keylink resource.
No, it shouldn't. But I need to play with that. That's interesting because it shouldn't be able to do that. From the NIV. Because see, mine won't. I mean, I don't get.
You don't have that in one of your Keylink lists, I'll bet.
Well, how many English Keylink resources are those all your English Keylink resources?
Well, I've got quite a few marked in mine, so it may be that I'm just not going deep enough. Let me check something real quick. I'm going to change. Yeah, there it is. So I can promote it. Yep, there it is. The reason it wasn't showing up in mine is because I had so many English key links already set. You still got to understand how it's finding that Greek word. But I'll give you that answer on Thursday. Here's my logic, Brett, just so that you know. If I can get to the Greek, I should be able to run an Englishman's concordance. If I can look it up in Art and Gingrich, why can't I run an Englishman's concordance? And it's because Englishman's in this system is set for the Greek Strong's numbers that it's not doing that. But obviously, you're still getting to a Greek text from the English, and I need to figure out why. So, but do you see what we can do from right-clicking? Now, I want to show you one other thing. I'm clicked on circumcision, so I'm in Philippians 3:3. Make sure Philippians 3:3 is in your current reference dialog box at the top of your window. And now go up under Tools, Bible Study. Guess what you have? Passage Guide and Exegetical Guide. Yes?
Here's something. If you go to like the Revised Standard, New Century Version, and you do the same thing, you don't get to the word. So it must be something in the New International.
Yeah, you shouldn't be able to do that. So I need to look at which resources they've modified. There's still no Strong's numbers in there, but they've done something to it. So I got to look at it.
The NIV's in the version.
Yeah. Okay, so Tools, Bible Study. What can you run from here? Everything that you can run from the homepage, for the most part, at least the Bible study section of the homepage. So you can run a passage guide. Just click on it. Click on passage guide. It's automatically going to load Philippians 3:3. Now, it actually grabbed a whole pericope and is asking me if I want to use that pericope. I could change it just to verse 3 and hit go. And it's going to run my passage guide right from here. I didn't have to close anything. I didn't have to open the home page. I can do an exegetical guide or passage guide right from the verse just by going up to the Tools menu. Cool stuff? Get used to right-clicking on things. You have all kinds of options. Now, the option that Brett just showed us that I was going to skip for now because I didn't think that it would do quite what I wanted it to. Go ahead and click on the word circumcision again in verse 3. And notice that you have some options. Display information, auto lookup, selected text. Under selected text, you have a number of options. Execute key link is you're familiar with now. Key link summary is going to look at all your key link options and display them in a report. It can also open your key link options for English, so you don't have to go to Tools, Options, Key Link to get there. It's going to automatically open it because this is an English data type. You can copy the word. You can do some searches, and we'll skip those for now. But look at the list at the bottom. The list at the bottom are your key links in order that they show up in your key links options dialog box that you can set. So you can change the order of all of these. But it's a quick way to get to all of these resources. So for example, Oxford Dictionary is in mine. I can try to open it. And there I have an article on page 356 of the Oxford Dictionary of the Christian Church on circumcision. But you can control what's in that list. Remember that. Okay? You're not just stuck with whatever books it wants to give you. It's going to allow you to choose the books you want. Okay? Yes?
On mine, it's showing 8 resources there. Can we make that number bigger?
Not that I'm aware of. That window is the size that it is. Now, if you wanted to look at more options, you could do that key link summary, and it would summarize all the key links that are in the list. But you don't have control over the number that shows up there. Yes.
If you're still in the New American Standard, it actually gives you another option. Whenever you say select the text, it gives you circumcision, and then underneath it gives you the Greek word. And so you can do a search in your Greek key links or your English.
Like you're missing that little box that we have.
You were in the NIV.
Yeah, you're in the NIV.
Yeah. Where were you?
NASB.
Oh, right. I was still trying to show you the options that Brett was showing you. But go ahead and go to the NIV for a second, and you'll notice that you're missing all those Greek options. In the NIV, under selected text, you don't have anything but circumcision. You follow? But in the New American Standard, the King James and the ESV, you are going to have other options. Because now under selected text, you're going to have circumcision or you're going to have the Greek word. Now the problem with doing searches from the English in this Greek word is select TD&T, for example. And it works. Select figures I picked a word that it's not going to get to. If you get to a title page instead of the resource, it means that word is not contained in that resource. Okay? Now, does TD&T have a word study for every word in the New Testament? No. I don't think Art and Gingrich claims to cover every word in the New Testament either. Do you know? Do they? I know it's extremely comprehensive, but it may not be every single word. So there's times when you run one of these reports and you just get to the title page. It's just telling you that word isn't in that lexicon or dictionary. Questions? Okay, the other thing you'll notice is I've been opening all kinds of windows, and so I have like 6 tabs along the bottom. That happens a lot, and you have to pay attention to that. Now, it's hard for me to tell all of the windows that I have open right now, even with the tab. But if I go up under the Windows menu, you'll notice that I have 6 windows open, and these are all of the ones that I have open. And I can select the Oxford Dictionary and just bring it to the front. I can do the same thing through my tab menu, but I wanted to show you that you can see what's open in this Windows dialog. Now, the reason that becomes as important is if I minimize one of these windows, like my TD&T Abridged, my little Kittle, I'm just going to hit the minimize button. Now it doesn't show up in my tabbed index. but it's still open and running. And it will show up under my Windows menu at the top. And I can select it and bring it back. Does that make sense? Do you see what I did? I just minimized one. And then under the window menu at the top, I can find it in my list and bring it back. Okay? I want you to go ahead and close all and open home. Actually, I'm sorry, just close all. We don't need our home page. If you have a workspace that is just the NAS, the ESV reverse interlinear, and a Greek text, and we haven't done that, have we? All right, so we're going to create a workspace with 3 resources. Open your library. Make sure Keep Open at the bottom is selected. Find your NAS 95 update and open it. Find your ESV reverse interlinear and open it. The New Testament reverse interlinear. And then I want you to find the UBS 4. But I want you to be careful. I want you to make sure to open the UBS 4 interlinear. It'll say INT next to it. I want you to set up your workspace so that you have the NAS on the left, your ESV in the middle, and your UBS on the far right.
I didn't tell you that. Show me the way would you do, say, I don't have interlinear with more columns?
Just the regular English Standard Version?
No, the ESV reverse interlinear. Which one don't you have? Which interlinear? You don't have the ESV reverse interlinear or the UBS? Okay.
What's that last one called?
The UBS 4. Just type in UBS 4 with the title selected and they're all gray. There's no lock next to them though? Okay. They're on your DVD then. We got to do the location manager on yours. You're missing resources. If there's no lock, you own it. It's just not there for some reason. And I want you to go ahead and chain link all 3 of these together. And then I want you to save this workspace. We're actually going to use this workspace to do some things. Now, you can name workspaces any way you want, but one of the things I've gotten in the habit of doing is naming it for what I have open. You'll notice on my list of saved workspaces, might be a little hard for you to read, but I have one that's NAS 95 and then a dash ESV interlinear dash UBS 4 dash commentaries or vice versa. Sometimes it's better if you can name them that specifically so that you know what the workspace is. Sometimes, I've got one called Greek Syntax Study. Well, I don't remember exactly what resources are in that. And sometimes it's hard to find a workspace that you're looking for because you don't know what is actually open in it. So be specific as you can in your naming. And I'm going to go up and turn on my interlinear stuff so that I have the same defaults that you guys have. Make sure you turn off the visible Strong's numbers in your NAS too. You don't need that all the time. I find that irritating to have them visible. You can get to them by right-clicking on the word. You don't necessarily need them visible. So it makes it easier to read the text when I don't have it visible. I want to look at some differences, and we want to start the discussion of what interlinears are and how some of these vary. Interlinear texts come now in two forms. One is the traditional interlinear, where you have the Greek text with an English translation in between the lines of text. And the new rage that's happening now is a reverse interlinear, which is the English text with the Greek in between. We'll talk about that. Look at your NAS window, your NAS 95 window, and go up under View. You'll notice that we already looked at inline Strong's numbers and interlinear Strong's numbers. There's another one that says Bible text only. Click on it and see if you can tell me what's different.
Links anywhere. Little letters.
Okay, so you lost footnotes, right?
Footnotes.
You lost footnotes. What else is missing?
All of the spaces and the pericope titles, everything. Just
All your pericope titles and everything are gone. You're just looking at, guess what? Bible text only, which is what you just told it to do. Now, there's times when Bible text only is fine with me, but I also miss having my footnotes and that kind of stuff sometimes. So this is completely your choice, but it is a visual option that you have, is Bible text only.
And this does come in handy when you're cut and pasting.
It does, because it doesn't copy all the pericope sets and all that kind of stuff, and all the footnotes. Now, I'll show you how to turn off copying footnotes and all that kind of stuff Thursday. I'm going to turn mine back so that it's not Bible text only. But other than inline Strong's numbers and footnotes, I really can't show anything else in my NAS. We've seen a couple of ways that we can maybe get to some Greek stuff. We can run an Englishman's concordance. We can go to selected text and we can find some things. But the bridge to Greek is a little bit narrow. It's kind of a footbridge, okay? It's one of those little rope bridges that kind of swings a little bit. You don't have a lot of options. You have some, but you don't have a lot. Now I want you to concentrate on this UBS 4 text, this interlinear on the far right-hand side. And if you want to, make your window bigger so that you can see it better. And I want you to notice what you're looking at here. On screen, you have the very first line, the main text, is what's called the manuscript. Okay, that's what your Greek text actually reads. These are all the parsed forms of the words. Okay? The next line down should be the lemma or lexical form of that Greek word, which is kind of cool, especially when you get into some words that change their stem and look different. It's nice to be able to get to the lexical form of the word, the lemma. Underneath that is the English definition. And then underneath that is the morphology. That's what all those capital letters are. It looks kind of weird, doesn't it? But, for example, go to Matthew 1:1, if you're not already there. The very first word is biblios. And it's a noun, nominative, singular, feminine. Okay, that's what NNSV means. Noun, nominative, singular, feminine. Now, that parsing is going to become more and more important to you as you get into the Greek, okay? Have you guys started talking about nominatives in Greek class? So you haven't gotten to cases and that kind of stuff yet. That's going to become more and more important as time goes on. But I want you to notice something. If you put your cursor on that word, biblios, in the lower corner, the left-hand corner of the window, it parses it for you. So even if you don't have this morphology visible in your interlinear, if you click on the word, you don't have to click, you just have to hover over the word. It's going to parse it for you in the lower left-hand corner of your screen. Does everybody see that?
Mine looks like a G976.
That's your Strong's number, but if you're where we are, I'm not sure where you're getting a Strong's number from.
Right, well,
I'm on the Biblos.
You're on Biblos?
Am I supposed to right click or no?
No, you don't click at all, just hover.
he's in the ESV reversing.
Okay. Yeah, it should be in the UBS, all the way on the far right-hand side. I just want to look at the UBS for now. This is the Greek text. Go up for a second with the UBS 4 selected. Go up under View. And you'll notice that you have a choice that says Interlinear. Select that. And turn off everything except for manuscript.
Everything except for what?
Everything except for manuscript. Now, I'm covering up my ESV interlinear for right now, so all I've got is my New American Standard 95 and my UBS open. Miles, can you read Matthew 1:1 in the NAS 95?
Yeah.
Would you, please?
The English.
The NAS 95. Is the NAS an English translation?
It looks like it.
Okay. So attempt to read the NAS, Matthew 1:1.
Here we go. The record of the genealogy of Jesus the Messiah, son of David, the son of Abraham.
It's not too hard, is it?
Well,
Okay. Go to the UBS 4, Matthew 1:1, and would you read Matthew 1:1 there for me as well?
okay. Biblios. That's all you got. See, I can't even do that much.
It's a little tougher, isn't it? Now, Danny, read Matthew 1:1. In the Greek. So, for some people, reading the Greek text like this isn't a problem, but for most of us it is, isn't it? Now, go up under View, make sure your Greek text is selected. Go up under View, select the Interlinear again, and just select English Literal Translation. So, manuscript and English Literal Translation, and say OK. Ah, that's much better. Now I have the English in my Greek text. So, Miles, now read Matthew 1:1 in your UBS 4.
Book of origin of Jesus Christ, son David, son Abraham. That kind of sounds like how I talk.
That's much easier, isn't it? Much, much better. Well, we're going to talk about how we're going to start to build bridges so that we can understand what's going on there. What I wanted to show you was that an interlinear stays with the original Greek word order. And in Greek, one of the things that you're going to learn is that word order is not important in Greek like it is in English. So sometimes, some passages, the word order in the English sounds very strange. And we'll look at more of that on Thursday.
Can we put back to normal?
Yeah, just go back under View, Interlinear, and select Default. And then say OK.
Thank you. Much better.
Okay? Okie doke. Thank you.
You're welcome.